What's up, guys? It's 8 days from Remembrance Day, 8 days from East versus West 10, where I will be fighting Denis and it's an incredible card. I'll talk a little bit about what the day means to me. I've talked a little bit how it's a great day for me to fight, and it's kind of a special day, and maybe I'll tell a little story and talk a little bit about the card. Gassy. Sorry. Jody made some really astounding soup. I have never liked Remembrance Day. I've always found it a little bit confusing, and I've always been, I guess what Remembrance Day meant for me before my career was something, and then after my career, it kind of meant something different. And I find that I dislike Remembrance Day much more now, even than when I was a kid, and I didn't like it when I was a kid either. I grew up in a split family, German and Canadian. So, I mean, different sides of the war, the big war, the war which Remembrance Day is based off of. We haven't seen wars like that, thankfully, in our generation. Um, but after you are involved as a war, as a veteran, there's probably a good chance that you think about it a little bit differently. I mean, who knows what you feel? I mean, me personally, I actually never wanted to leave the forces. If I rewind probably, 10 years back, even on joining the military, I thought I was going to be a lifer. I thought I was, I didn't think I was ever going to leave. But my life kind of twisted and changed in a way that I had to leave. So I did 20, and I was fortunate enough to be involved in a little bit of activity. And, I think that a lot of veterans probably feel a little bit of survivor's guilt, and, probably a feeling like, they're out and guys are still working, and, you feel the day typically has never made me comfortable after I retired. So this year is maybe a little bit different for me. So I guess the match with Denis, it's a huge match. I think it's important on Remembrance Day for me now. For me, Remembrance Day has changed. What it means to me has changed. I know what it's supposed to mean, but it doesn't necessarily mean that for me. And actually, it's Denis who had a big part in that. Really is. I faced Denis in 2018. I think it was around Remembrance Day, maybe shortly after Remembrance Day. But I remember at that point, I still, was fresh from leaving the forces. And I was very, very young in some ways still. And I did not recognize the level of sacrifice that a lot of people made for their for others, and I know that sounds really shallow, but that's kind of where I didn't really. I was coming from a place where Remembrance Day for me was about soldiers dying and soldiers giving their life for their country, and what I see it as now is anyone who gives their life for others, or for service of a greater cause or greater calling. For me, I think that that's just super cool. I think anytime people do that, it's worth having a day for them. And yeah, I saw a little bit of that in Dennis. I did. I recognized his sacrifices for his country, for his family, whatever it was, the level of professionalism. Anyways, I want to tell just a quick story because I think that a lot of people, you know, they don't get to hear this stuff, and even as Canadians, you know, you don't know always what's going on, what kind of people you have supporting the military. There's many stories, many great people I could talk about, but I'll probably just talk about one in this particular story of Remembrance Day. Not exactly his real name. We'll call him Stevie Dubai. Okay. Incredible soldier. And I'll try and keep it a little bit short. Basically, on an infill, Stevie Dubai got 2 direct hits in a chopper. Probably a dude with a PK. That's a 7.62 machine gun, shooting probably pretty much straight up at the helicopter. Bang, bang, right up through his ass. Okay, ripped through his guts. Now, I thought he was dead myself. I thought he was dead. But dude's way better than me. Went into the burning helicopter under fire and dragged his bleeding body out of there. Jay and Rico. And I mean, forgive me, these aren't their real names. Okay. And Rico carried him up a hill, a big hill, under fire, where it was treated by a very fat, overweight medic who just kept him barely alive. Titrated so his blood pressure, you know, so he didn't bleed out, but so his systems didn't completely stop working. Against orders, he was evacuated by an Australian helicopter pilot. Came in under fire against orders, picked him up, took him to a FOB where they did a mobile blood bank on him. Bled out his blood volume like 3 times. An artery got nicked somewhere up in his guts by his spine. Okay, so he was bleeding, so they had his guts all opened up. Pinched him off. Yeah. Spent like a month or 2 unconscious in Germany while they slowly restuffed him. Got home. He's a family guy. Got wife, got kids. Rehabbed himself. Took about a year or 2. Went back in the fight. Yeah. Went back in the fight. I think he's still working. Yeah. So we got guys like this, you know, still active. And guys who give everything. So so Remembrance Day is a special day. You know, it's a day sometimes that I wish that I still were fighting. And Obviously, I'm not. I'm a fucking pro arm wrestler now. But it's a special day for me. It's a special day for me to get to fight. And this one is hard. This one, I don't know if I can win. I do not know. Last time I arm wrestled him, he destroyed me. He did. Last time I arm wrestled Denis Saplenkoff, he murdered me. A lot has changed. It's a different time for both of us. I really don't know. We're 8 days away. And it's a meaningful fight for me. It's a defense of a super heavyweight title. It's a guy who destroyed me the last time I arm wrestled him. And it's on Remembrance Day. And I don't like to say that this is for the guys who are still fighting or anything, because if I lose, you know, and I may lose. Don't perceive this as a lack of confidence, because I've done everything that I can do. And I am immaculately prepared physically and mentally. And I don't get to fight in the war anymore. But when I fight on the arm wrestling table, believe me, that I do my best to channel every piece of what I was into this sport. So, should be a good one. Should be a very good one. And it's a good card. It's a really good card. We got John Brzenk at damn near 60 years old going for a world title in the 95 kilo division. It's a big deal. It's a very, very big deal. Todd Hutchings. I think that this is the clear champion of the 105 kilo division. Kurtagali Angarbayev, probably most precise and deadly arm wrestler that there is, versus Todd Zilla. And I've received a little bit of criticism for this, but these two guys are the best. They're the best at 105. They're incredible. You got top of the women's division, Sarah Backman, Egla Vaituika. You got probably some of the next in lines for the super heavyweight title, Zaur Pazolayev versus Georgi Svetkov. And the card just goes on. It's an incredibly deep card. It's gonna be an incredible day of arm wrestling. November the 11th, probably the activity for Eastern Standard Time. It should start around 2 o'clock. So, anyways, I'll be channeling, and I'm ready. Look how freaking massive I am now, huh? No, not really. I'm lean and mean. And don't think that I'm trying to get lean. Don't think that for a second, because I'm eating everything I fucking can. I just, my lifestyle has changed a little bit. I'm sleeping properly. A lot of things have changed. So, all in, guys. 8 days out. Thanks for your time. And